Alrighty, guys. One of the fandoms that I feel like we don't talk about that much on this YouTube channel because, frankly, I haven't been super invested in this franchise for quite a while, and it's actually not a movie franchise, it's a video game franchise. But Five Nights at Freddy's was a pretty big part of the last few years, or maybe, when did the first game come out? 2014, 2013? It was a long time ago, but when those first games were coming out, the first four original games and then the sister location game, and I was pretty invested in this franchise and all the lore implications. I myself, I mean, you guys know this if you've been watching or listening to the channel for quite a while, I'm not a big horror fan. I'm just not a big horror fan. It doesn't appeal to me, quite frankly. I just recently watched Sinners, and that's a movie where would not watch it in the theaters because I just don't really enjoy the experience of watching horror in a theater. And it's a movie where I thought incredibly well made, really competently acted and made, not for me, as an example. But Five Nights at Freddy's, the lore is so interesting. So when they announced the movie was coming out originally last year, or 2 years ago, I think 2023, in the fall, I was like, okay, there's a lot of potential here because the game's lore, while getting even more convoluted these days, just with every passing day, it's just getting more and more convoluted. The original games were quite interesting with the lore, and I was interested to see how they would adapt it. So I watched the first movie, and I thought it was profoundly disappointing because as somebody who doesn't like horror, I thought the first movie wasn't nearly as scary enough. I mean, part of it, I hate jump scares, but there's an atmospheric sort of horror, right, where things are tense and scary, not because of the jump scares, but because of the setting and the scenes and the backstory and the backdrop. And I just thought the first movie was disappointing. I thought the animatronics were so unscary. They were just lumbering around and in broad daylight, and it just wasn't scary. But it made a lot of money. It made about $400 million, which is incredible based on the reviews as well, which just didn't get good reviews. But the fan base is here, and there's a second movie. So let's talk about this official trailer for the second Five Nights at Freddy's movie. There was a teaser trailer a while ago, but this is the first official trailer. And I have a few thoughts on this. First of all, if you've played Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you'll know that this trailer is taking a lot of inspiration from that game. The first movie didn't adapt the first game at all. Not really, at least, but it took the main animatronics and the main backdrop of the setting of the first game and made it into a movie in a very loose sense. And I think that that's exactly what the second movie is doing as well, taking a lot of elements and inspirations from the second game. So that's interesting. And there are the new animatronics, the shinier toy animatronics. So, I mean, there are different looks and things like that. I still have the same concern I did with the first movie of the animatronics just walking around. I mean, they're so slow and they just look so clanky and clunky, and they just don't look that scary. I also don't know how I feel, because in the first movie they did this as well. There's a lot more of the Saw contraption kind of horror, which in the games there really isn't. Where all these mechanical gears and whirrings and blades and things, that doesn't feel like Five Nights at Freddy's to me, but I don't know, it's their interpretation of that. And it feels like instead of really taking the lessons from the first movie and improving upon them, it feels like just another version of that movie, which I guess is okay, but I was hoping, rather, that this film, the second film, would really take from that first film things that just, in my opinion, weren't working as well. The animatronics, the story was okay, it was fine. I don't know what the story of this film is going to be. It looks like Josh Hutchinson's character is taking care of his sister, and she's still kind of haunted by her experiences in the last film. And then they're walking around now. They're going to the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, which I think is, for those of you who played the second game, you'll know why that's important. I won't give that away here for those of you who haven't. So, I mean, it's interesting, I guess, but I've been hoping to be more excited about this movie. It's coming out in December 5th. And just watching the trailers, I feel that same sense of nothingness, just mediocrity that I felt going into coming out of the first movie. And so I'm a little disappointed by that. But again, these are just trailers, and I'm really hoping that the second movie comes out, and it's an amazing movie. It's a huge improvement over the last one. So we will see when that movie comes out. Guys, did you have a chance to see the new trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Let me know in the comments down below.